Hello fellow programmers, welcome back to yet another video on Introduction to C++. Today we are going to talk about the structure of a C++ program. We are also going to write our first C++ program and analyze it line by line as we go along through the video. So let's get started. So what are the components of a C++ program? Any general C++ program is composed of three different parts. The first of them being comments, the second one being a preprocessor directive, and the third one being the body of the program. And the body of the program is composed of statements, functions, and return values, which we're going to go over in later videos, and I'm going to explain them a bit as we analyze our first C++ program. The first part of a C++ program that we're going to look at are comments. So what are comments in a C++ perspective? In C++, comments are chunks of text that are usually written in human language and are ignored by the compiler. So as the compiler looks at the code while compiling it, it'll notice which lines are comments and it'll skip through those lines, and it'll just totally ignore those lines, and it'll just move on to the next line and check if that's a comment, and if that's a comment it'll skip, or if it's not, it'll compile that line and keep moving. So that brings us to the question, how do we denote comments? Comments can be denoted using two forward slashes as shown in this slide, or we can start the comment with a forward slash and a star and close it with a star and a forward slash like shown here, and we can write comments in between them. So comments are used to explain code that are written by a programmer. Someone might have written a code today or right now, but if someone looks at the code 5 or 10 years later, then they might get confused about what the code is about. So it is definitely good practice to use comments to explain your code. So let's look at an example. So now we're going to start writing our first C++ program, and we're going to start by writing comments. So at first, let's go ahead and make a new file with Control-Shift-N, and it should give us a file like so, saying untitled. And we need to save it. I'll show you how. Let's go ahead and save it first, actually. So I'm going to do Control-S, and then I'm just going to name it firstprogram.cpp. Make sure that the extension is .cpp. This one you can name it whatever you want, but make sure that the extension of the file is .cpp, because or else it'll make a .c file which will compile the program as a C program, and it might not recognize some of the C++ libraries and some of the C++ functions that we might be using. So make sure that that's the extension of it. And I'm just going to go ahead and save it because I already made that once. I'm just going to replace that, and so we have our CPP file, and what we're going to do now is we're going to write a comment. Like I said, we can write a comment using two forward slashes like so, and for now I'll just say the comment is "this is a comment," and I'm going to save it. And as you can see, the comment is kind of grayed out, and you'll see in a second why I said it's grayed out, because when I write code they will have a different syntax highlighted. And you can also write a comment using a forward slash and a star like so. You can start it like that and then write NE comments in between that. I'll say this is another comment, and then you can just close it using a star and a forward slash. So anything in between this will be a comment. it can be a single line, it can be multiple lines. You can just start it like that, and then you can say these lines of comments are written as an example, as an example to show these fellow programmers how to comment. And then you can close it. I'm going to save that. You can also have this aligned with the comment like here, and you can also have this aligned with that. You can have it like that, and anything in between these will be comments no matter what, and the compiler will just ignore those and not compile them at all. So I'm just going to get rid of them and start writing the code. So I'm just going to say the programmer is Mr. Code Fairy, and then I'll just say today's date for now, which is it's the 8th of January. We'll say it's January 8th, 2020. The second part of a C++ program that we are going to look at is a preprocessor directive. As the name suggests, a preprocessor is a programming tool that runs before the compiler starts compiling the program. And the preprocessor directives are commands to the preprocessor to tell it to process the commands before the compilation starts. A preprocessor directive usually starts with a pound symbol, like so, as highlighted here. Don't you dare call it a hash. That is a pound symbol. For now, we will be looking at the include preprocessor directive. It is used to tell the compiler to add built-in or programmer-written definitions that we need for the code to run properly. And we will look at different kinds of libraries and headers that we'll be using with the includes to tell the compiler to include only the definitions that we specifically need for our code. So let's get into our example and keep coding some more of our first program. So let's take a look at preprocessor directives. So because we're going to be writing a preprocessor directive, I'm just going to write a comment to notify future programmers to know that this is a preprocessor directive. That will also be a reminder to myself that this is what I did here. So the first preprocessor directive that we're going to be looking at is the pound include, and we are going to be including a library to output hello world to the screen. So we need a library called iostream, which we are going to be writing between these angle brackets. And iostream stands for input output stream, which just tells the compiler that we are going to be using keywords from the library, the standard library called input output stream. Well, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. We're going to finish up our code in the next video, and I'm going to go in depth about analyzing each line of the program body, and I'm going to explain the program body to you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and definitely hit that bell button to get instant notifications when I post my videos. Until then, goodbye and have a good one.